Welcome back, fellow travelers. This is Cheryl with Adventures of Sea and Sea. Do you have a travel list? Because I have a travel list. And the person I'm sitting with today, she has checked off every box on my travel list. Did you ask who it is? Stay tuned to find out.
Taking my chances along with my dreams.
Hey guys, I am so inspired by this person I'm about to introduce you to, and I hope that if you love to travel that you will be inspired as well. So today, help me welcome Lorrie Lindsey.
Hello everyone.
Lorrie Lindsey is a world traveler. I have been following her journey for years, and I am super happy that you took the time out today to sit with me, because Lorrie has the ultimate travel story. So I asked Lorrie if she would share with you guys today where you have traveled to, what inspired you to travel to all these places. And I know you've been to all 50 states.
Yes.
But that's just the beginning, right?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Lorrie. So tell us why you went to all 50 states to start with.
Yeah, as a kid growing up, my parents would take me all over the states. We'd hop in my dad's green 1970 something Blazer, and we'd travel out to Colorado. And I was just, as a kid, awestruck by the mountains. Growing up in Florida, it was a little bit different. So just fell in love with doing that with my family, and as I got older I just continued it. And then when I had my two boys, I set a goal. I said by the time they get 18 I want to have been with them to all 50 states.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And they have been to all 50 states?
They've been to all 50 states. When my youngest turned 15, we went to Fargo, North Dakota, and that was our 50th state.
Wow.
If you ever have that dream, if you go there, they have a special building in Fargo for your 50th state. It has a big sign that you can stand out in front of. You can go get pictures with the little Fargo movie hat, the little, I forget what it's called, the little animal hat. But it's a neat experience. And then I got 50 state flags and put them all around the front, and we got such a beautiful picture of all 50 states.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a great memory.
Yeah.
Now, you are originally from Florida?
Yes, I was born and raised in Stuart, Florida. Lived in Tallahassee for a little bit, and then moved to Ohio. Worked up there with Nationwide Insurance, but then when my kids were born, I'm like, I want to move back to Florida and raise them with my family.
Oh, yeah. So, but the 50 states is only the beginning of Lorrie's journey.
Yes.
Because America is really big, but the world is much bigger. Tell us what inspired you to continue traveling the world.
Yeah. So I started traveling the world. I'm trying to remember the first one. I know little cruises, obviously, to the Caribbean and stuff like that. It was just amazing, beautiful little islands. So we started out doing cruises. I felt more comfortable with cruises because I have the ship and I could go back to the same room every night.
Right.
But then we'd go on tours and be with people. But as we did that, then I got inspired to do other trips. I've always loved winter wonderlands. Growing up in Florida, we didn't have snow here. A lot of people hate snow, but I don't know if I'd want to live in it though, but I love to visit it. So 2000.
Do you do winter sports?
I do. I love to ski, snowmobile, go out to Colorado a lot, have friends out there. So we go and spend long weekends, and summertime go hiking. I know I've invited several of my friends. They've come out and we spent a few days hiking. One of my girlfriends, we went out, invited her. She came to Colorado a couple weeks ago. We went skiing.
Nice.
So it's nice to have friends.
Yeah.
Participate and enjoy it as well.
Right. But now from the Caribbean, you have expanded your travels.
Yes, yeah. So like the Winter Wonderland, that was my first inspiration. I'm like, I want to go see the Northern Lights. So I found Iceland. So I'm like, let's try that. So one year, one of my sisters and my oldest son, Evan, we found special on Iceland Air from Orlando. And it's funny because he wanted to fly, he's a pilot now, he wanted to fly the Iceland airplane that has a special livery that when you're on the plane, the lights look like northern lights.
Oh, wow.
So we got lucky, and the plane that we took over there had it. But we saw the northern lights a couple of times over there. I was all struck with Iceland. We went in the wintertime once again.
I was going to ask you what time of year to see the northern lights.
Yeah, it's, I think October to like the end of March or April.
Okay.
In that side of the world, like the Arctic and all that. But Iceland, I mean, it had waterfalls that we went on. We went, the horses, they're just beautiful Icelandic horses. You'd just be driving along and you'd pull up by a farm and they'd run up to the fence and you could pet them. And it was just, they're breathtaking, beautiful animals. We went to the glaciers. They have a glacier out there. Black Sand Beach. So just the beauty of Iceland is gorgeous. Wow. I haven't been there in the summertime, but it's on my bucket list to go over there, and you can rent a camper van and you just drive around. You have a place to stay in every night. And I did the bottom part of Iceland, so now I want to like do the top part in the summertime. So that's another thing on my bucket list.
Oh, your bucket list is growing.
It is growing. I mean, I'm checking things off.
You have checked off a lot.
Yeah, I've been to 6 continents. And I have my 7th continent booked. In November, I'm going to Antarctica.
Wow.
2024. I'm so excited. Going to go on a cruise. You go on a cruise down there. To Viking cruise. I haven't been on them yet, so it'll be my first Viking cruise. But I'm really excited to do that.
How interesting. My goodness.
Yeah.
Now, from Iceland, what was your next continent that you traveled to after? And you don't have to tell me in any order because I know you have done so many things.
Now I know that I think it's the next year, then I wanted to take my youngest son, so for spring break in March, and a lot of my travels when they were younger was always in March because it was spring break week, but I found an Airbnb in Finland. Most people don't think of Finland, but I had read more about the Northern Lights, and I wanted to say I've been above the Arctic Circle. Because Iceland, you're not above the Arctic Circle where I went. So we booked, I rented a car, we flew over there on Norwegian, they had specials. So I've always tried to find bargains on airfare and hotels and all that kind of stuff. But I found this perfect Airbnb up in Rovaniemi, just above the Arctic Circle. It was right on a lake. There was like not a lot of houses around. And my oldest son, loves to do videos. So we'd take a tripod and put it out at nighttime on the lake, and he videoed the Northern Lights just like dancing it through the sky. It's just amazing.
Oh my gosh, it sounds magical.
Yeah. So I'd say if you want Northern Lights, that's been my best place I've seen it.
Finland.
Yes. Plus then they have all the other little tours. They have the huskies. You can go on husky rides. They have the reindeer. You can go on reindeer sleds through the woods, snowmobiling. It's beautiful.
Oh my word. So Finland for the Northern Lights.
Finland for the Northern Lights. Plus the people there are so friendly and so nice. When we were in Helsinki, it was so funny. The first night, this kid shows up. I'm like, who are you? And my son joined a lot of plane spotting groups. So he knew that he met a lot of people around the world that shared his passion.
Oh, wow.
So this friend from Finland came and showed us around Helsinki.
How
so it's
cool
really,
was that?
I'm like, that's my 16-year-old kids meeting people. So it's inspired me to like try to join groups to be able to meet people and spread my horizon to meet new people.
People all around the world.
Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah. Plus, I felt like this teaches different cultures to the kids. So sometimes American kids could be spoiled by what we have in America.
Right.
So it's nice, I think, for kids to go different places and see how the rest of the world lives and value what they have. Even though the rest of the world, they got nice stuff and beautiful scenery too, but sometimes people take advantage of what we have in the U.S. and I think it's nice to see different cultures and meet different people.
I agree. And I'm sure your boys have learned a lot through travel.
They have, yeah.
Sure.
It's funny, in school, their teachers were so inspired how these kids have been to 50 states and went to this island. When my youngest turned 18, I'd found a special, the Turkish Air from Miami, flying to the Maldives. I've always wanted to go to the Maldives, but I'm like, I can't afford the Maldives. But with the special, it was like $700 round trip ticket.
Wow.
We went to the Maldives. It was amazing. The water's beautiful and just...
I'm happy you share that, because my first thought would be how expensive it would be. But $700, we paid out to go to the Caribbean. So, and is the Maldives as beautiful as I see in the pictures?
It is. And you have to, for his birthday, one night, the rest of the nights we were in just a regular room, but the one night I booked over the water villas. And it was amazing having a little pool, and you could just jump into the Indian Ocean from your bungalow.
Wow.
Definitely, if you go to the Maldives, at least do that one night.
You have to do that.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And now you also hike a lot, and you have been to the most amazing summits around the world. Can you share with us some of your hiking stories?
Yeah. So in 2019, my boys were getting older, so they're not big hikers. So I read and heard about different women going on these hikes to Mount Everest, Base Camp, Kilimanjaro, other ones. So in 2019, I invited some people to go, but none of my friends, I guess, want to go. So I'm like, I just gotta, if I want to go, I can't just sit here and wait.
Yeah.
So I found a tour over in Africa, and I booked a trip to do the summit of Kilimanjaro.
Wow.
So it was a 7-day trip on the Lamosha route. They have different routes in Kilimanjaro. Some are 5 days, some are 7, some are 14. But met the nicest people. I mean, my guides that I had going up Kilimanjaro, I still talk to them on Facebook. I mean, you establish lifelong relations. And they're like the hardest workers I have ever met. These guys, and there were some women, would carry your tents. They would carry your bags, which were like 40 pounds, along with 4 or 5 other bags up on their shoulders and heads, up these mountains. It's just, I was amazed what they would do.
Wow.
Now, if someone ever decides to do Kilimanjaro, I do have one word of advice.
Yep.
You could rent a tent that has a little portable potty. It was $70 for the week, but it was the best $70 I spent. Plus, it gave another person a job to do during the week.
All right.
But other people had to hike up the mountain at night to use little holes in the ground where right next to my tent, whenever we stopped anywhere, they would set it up and you'd have your little own personal potty. Wow. So if you decide you want to do Kilimanjaro, that's my advice.
Like a really important tip, especially if you're a woman.
Yes.
That's really important. So
yes, but the views were amazing. It was the hardest one I've done because the last night you leave your tent about 12 o'clock in the middle of the night. And it was like 5 degrees, and it got colder and colder as you went up. So I do freeze a lot being from Florida. So I had like 7 layers on. I had 4 or 5 pair of pants. So I felt like I was the Michelin man going up the mountain, which was hard to breathe because Florida and all that was close. I had to take off some layers. But once you get to the top, the sun rises and you're at the top, and it's just, wow, I did this. It was amazing.
Another magical
moment. A couple of times I got a little discouraged, and I know some people turn around, but I remember when we got to almost the top, looking behind me and seeing the sunrise, and my father had passed away a few years earlier than that, and to me, from the skies, he was saying, "You got this, princess. Finish it." So it kind of gave me my second wind to get it done.
Oh, that's awesome. What a great story.
Yeah. And then you can wind it up with a safari. I think everyone has to do a safari once in their life. First day we saw the Big 5. It was just around the Serengeti, just driving around, seeing the wilderness and the animals. Breathtaking.
Oh, my word. Yeah, all these things are on my list.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's neat to go to these places and actually hike and do things. Not some people just sit around, which that's fine, But I'm the type, I like to go, and keep moving. And
you see more.
yeah. And if I can do it, you train, just get the physical, like where you can walk for like 5 or 6 hours.
I was going to ask you to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. How much did you train, or can you share a little bit? How you got there?
So I know I was part of a gym, Factory Fitness in Stuart, when I first signed up for that, and the owner, Kevin, over the years has inspired people to do Tough Mudders, different challenges. So he would have us run the bleachers, go up and down, run around the track, build up our endurance, build up some strength training. So he inspired me a lot to train to do these things. You do cardio, like just go on a bike. Like in Florida, there's not a lot of elevation, so I would try to run the bridge, put a backpack on, run the bridge, bicycle, just improve your endurance.
And you have to do it for hours, so
yeah,
endurance is really important.
Yeah, I mean, I trained, like, I usually train an hour a day. I go to the gym or do stuff at the gym one day, and on the weekends I would spend a couple hours, would go over to the high school before they let us in. Now they lock it, you can't go. Moore County should let you get into the gyms and run the bleachers. It's a good habit for exercise.
That's a good work.
But yeah, and then just do a couple hours on Saturday.
Okay.
But probably train 6 months for it in preparation.
Well, sounds doable.
Yeah, I think anybody can do it. Elevation could be a little bit of a problem, especially from Florida. Yeah. But I know there's medicines to help you. My doctor prescribed something. I took it so I wouldn't get sick.
Right.
I know a gentleman from Germany that I met. He got sick, but I was able to help him because I had a bunch, and he got all better.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But it's neat on these trips too, because you meet people from different countries. There was an Australian lady, a guy from Spain, a couple from Germany. So every night you have dinner in a tent, and you just talk, and you get to know these people.
And share travel stories.
Share travel stories.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Definitely inspiring.
That you are very inspiring.
No, thank you.
Now, another mountain on your list is Mount Everest.
Yep, that was one of my big ones. The next year, I said, I want to go to the base camp. I'd love to go to the top of Mount Everest, but that's very expensive and time consuming. But maybe one day if I win the lottery, I can keep that on my bucket list. But base camp it's so amazing. It's like a 15-day trip. You fly into Kathmandu, and then you fly into a little town, the world's most dangerous airport, when you come in for the landing. But it was amazing.
An adventure.
And then you hike 4 or 5 hours a day. And the thing I liked about the base camp is you stayed in little, I guess you can call them little hotels, but like they're family owned. And like the owners would fix dinner and lunch for you. Nothing fancy, but it's a bed. And some of them had bathrooms, some of them had community bathrooms, but at least you can stay clean.
Instead of a tent.
In a tent. Yeah, Kilimanjaro was a tent. But there's no hotels along the way. But Everest Base Camp, you can stay in little hotels. There's big swaying bridges. They're so neat to cross. A couple of times you're crossing the bridge, and you get halfway across, and all of a sudden this group of yaks come by. So you have to back up, because they're not backing up for you. But there's no cars along the way, so a lot of times they rely on these yaks to transport materials. Another thing that inspired me, though, once again, is the Sherpas over there. I saw people bent over, Sherpas, carrying mattresses up the mountain. Wow. They just inspire me, because
if they can do
it, yeah. So it's just neat to see that and try the different food. Even though I did get tired of noodles and rice, but
how interesting.
Yeah.
And now I followed you as you travel through Chile. Is Patagonia? Yes,
this past November, I've seen pictures and inspired to go down and backpack. I'm not the biggest backpack fan. I've discovered I like my day pack and then coming back to a room, or else someone carrying my backpack. But in Patagonia and Chile part, there's no hotels. If you do the W track, you have to carry your backpack to this place, because you don't go back to the same place.
Oh,
but
right.
The views are worth it. I mean, it's hard for, I think it was 5 days, 4 nights, but the views, when you get up there and you see the glacier water and the mountains, just stuff you don't see every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Incredible. I had never even heard of Patagonia until a couple years ago, and then I saw you traveling there. I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing.
She's there now too.
Another place on my bucket list is Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu is very inspirational and kind of spiritual in a sense. I know I had a girlfriend that she went the year before with a bunch of her girlfriends. So they're like, oh, I want to try that. So then the next year signed up. I have a friend that sometimes travels with me, so they went with us. But we booked a group to do the Inca Trail. It's 4 days, 3 nights. So to me, some people, you can go to Machu Picchu and not hike. You can take like a train in there. But to me, a lot of times it's not the destiny, it's the journey.
The journey.
Yeah, so like hiking every day and just seeing what the Mayans did back in the days, how they built all this stuff and hauled all this marble down to create these inspiring sculptures and villages, and it was just amazing. And
you walked where they walked.
Yes, walked where they walked, definitely. One thing I remember about the Inca Trail is the food. Every lunchtime and nighttime, they have porters that carry your stuff and chefs that go with you. But I mean, they would have a spread of like pizza, chicken. If it's your birthday, they would make you a birthday cake.
Wow.
So these people really look out for you and try to make you have a memorable time. They're just very friendly down in Machu Picchu and warm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have friends from Peru, from Cusco.
Okay.
And they have to take us to Machu Picchu. They promise that we have to go, and they go. And they are the nicest, warmest people. Started through working together, but they are our friends in there. So I can believe you that the people there are very warm and friendly and kind.
And when you get there, you're going to be so inspired. I remember the last the last night we had to get up early. And you hike like another hour or 2 because you try to get to Machu Picchu right when it opens. But you get to this, I forget the name of it, but you get to the spot above Machu Picchu and the sun rises up over Machu Picchu. If you don't do the Inca Trail, you miss that.
Oh.
So you might want to tent it for, it's 4 days, 3 nights, so it's not too bad.
No.
But it's just seeing the sun rise up over Machu Picchu from that high space. It touched my heart. It's like, this is one of God's creations. It's breathtaking. And then when you're done, you have another like hour hike back down. But just walking through the gate and seeing all the villages and buildings there, it's just beautiful.
Beautiful and magical. Oh my goodness, you have had so many magical moments. Recently we were looking at a couple that was traveling through New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
And then I see your picture and you were like, that's New Zealand.
Yeah, I got to go like a year and a half ago after Christmas. I'm like, I've always wanted to go to Australia and New Zealand, plus it was my 6th continent. But I booked a trip. I work for AAA with insurance, but we have travel agents in our office. And I went and talked to one of them, and they have groups and tours that you can book through them. So I'd never really gone on an escorted tour. I usually do things by myself and then maybe do a day tour with a company. But I booked it, and it's one of the best trips I've ever been on. I love all the other ones, and I've organized them, but it was so nice not to have to worry about driving and making sure this is the right hotel and this and that. So it was so neat. We flew over to Sydney. It was New Year's Eve. I got a ticket to the Opera House. I went out during intermission, and they had the fireworks going over the bridge. What a breathtaking sight. And then the next morning I got up and I climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge. That was another breathtaking sight for me to do that. But I met so many people on the group. So one lady, she was from Long Island, and right away let's just hit it off.
I can imagine.
And I told her, few weeks, whatever, when we got down to New Zealand, I'm like, I booked this trip. I'm going to take a helicopter on top of a glacier and hike all around. And she's like, oh my gosh, can I go with you? She's, I've never done something like that. So I'm like, more people the merrier.
Yeah.
So she went and booked it. And later on our trip that day, we flew from Queenstown down to where Mount Cook was. And then we got on a helicopter. They took us up. We got to walk around the glacier. We got to rappel down into blue ice caves. And we had a champagne toast on top of the glacier. Something I've never done. And it's definitely a memorable experience.
Wow. You have a book of memorable
I
experiences.
do. Yeah.
Magical moments.
Yeah. You can't buy those. I mean, that's why I tell people people travel. And I've had so many older people tell me, Lorrie, do it while you can. A lot of people wait till they retire, but if you can go now, do a little bit now while people are younger. But even if you're older, still keep doing it. But so many people, as they get older, things pop up in life and they don't get to do it. So that's why every year I do one or two kind of trips. My birthday's in July, so I know every year that's my birthday present. Where am I going to go this year? So maybe this year I'm looking at Norway, but I haven't decided yet.
Wow, incredible. You have such an amazing story.
Yeah.
You've traveled to all 50 states. You're about to check off every continent. You've probably been to every ocean.
Yes.
Thinking
yes, every ocean.
Yeah. That is amazing. I mean, the world seems so big, but you've made it like a little smaller place. We look at it as, so overwhelming, but you have conquered most of it. Incredible. Your journeys. And I know you said about backpacking, but you have a backpack of memories.
Oh, that's good. Good saying. Definitely backpack of memories. And I just hope other people do it. I mean,
you're very inspiring. And you know what's inspiring? Where you talked about the Maldives, because we think of these trips as being super expensive, but when you research, you have found ways to travel that you can afford to do it before you retire.
Yes.
And I think that is very inspiring for everyone, for our audience who wants to travel, that you can do it. If you want to, you can do it. While you're working, you were working, you raised 2 boys, and you have done all this traveling throughout your life. Right?
Everybody can do it. Just shop around, and like when I went to Africa, there's this group and this group, but this group was half the price. So just always shop around. And travel agents, they help inspire you and can find deals for you, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
But I love to travel, so I like to do a lot of research myself and figure this out, figure that out. But the few times I've used a travel agent, it was nice too. A little bit of a change, not have to worry as much as when you go by yourself.
You were more taken care of.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, have you had a travel tip as far as packing? Because you have traveled internationally. I travel in an RV, but I can take my stuff with me most of the time. For packing, do you have like a certain amount of things, certain things you must have and that you shouldn't have, that you can share with us? Is that like a...
Yeah, but I'm a bad packer. I like my comforts of home. So sometimes my backpack's a little bit too big. But just layers. I mean, like, because in the wintertime, it could get hot. I mean, when I leave here in Florida, it's hot, and when I get somewhere, it's cold. So I wear layers, and if I have to peel it off, I can.
Comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes, but then I like my heels too, so like maybe one pair of tennis, and I work out a lot, so a pair of tennis shoes, a flip-flop maybe, and then maybe a pair of heels. Yeah. I was watching a video the other day. This lady, she had a pair of flip-flops that had a heel. You can unscrew the heel. I'm like, whoo, I gotta find out what that is, because it takes up less room.
It's just one. So you probably always look for items for traveling easier, taking up less room.
Yeah. So, and then the wool stuff, it's easier to hand wash and dry if you don't have a wash machine. Camping, hiking, bring safety stuff, Band-Aids, and headlamps. So it depends on the trip too. If you're going to do this, or stay in a hotel.
Take
know.
your wipes when there's no shower.
I'd say Kilimanjaro, you definitely have to have wipes.
Well, I am so happy that you were able to share your story with us, because I hope that everybody is as inspired as I am. Because I have been following Lorrie for years and I am super inspired. Besides my bucket list, I'm adding things because of her. So continue traveling and enjoying the world, but you have covered a big chunk of it. And thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Like I say, go travel.
Go travel.
Yeah, that's one of my slogans is go travel. Like, do it now while you can.
I use the tagline "Life on the Move," but you take life on the move to another level. It's incredible. So thank you so much. And if you like this video, don't forget, give us a
huge thumbs up.
subscribe and hit that notification bell.